Hello students, today we're going to take a look at the use of Google Sites, which is what we're going to use to organize our unit of study. One thing I want to point out before we jump into Google Sites is just a quick reminder that Google Sites is actually also using your Google Drive. So the best way to help build your website is to already have something in your Google Drive that's organized for you. In this case, I have a file that's called EDUC381, and then in that file, I have all the things that I might need for this website that I want to build specifically. So having an organized Google Drive is going to help you with your building your website. Okay, then the best way to get to Google Sites is just sites.google.com, and this will take you to your main menu. Here you will see some templates. Feel free to look through the template gallery and find a template that works best for you. I'm just going to go ahead and use a blank one to get started just so we can look through the basics. So here is my blank site, and this is the site builder. So what you have here is your main, working page, the page that you're on. Up here you have your menu ribbon for saving and publishing your site. Over here on the right hand side you have a lot of formatting things. So what you see here is we could add text box, we could add images, we could embed links, we could pull things from our Google Drive, we can change the layout. There's lots of different options that we can do to customize our site. So let's take a look and get started. First thing you want to do is give your site a title. So mine, I'll just call it, how about Dr. Blanco's sample. So I can enter that title here or here, it doesn't matter. It'll show up in both places once I click enter. You could add a logo. I'm not going to worry about doing that for right now. I'll add a picture a little bit later on. But what I want to do is quickly show you how this page, which is going to be your home page, can be built and organized. So what we're going to do with our home page is an overview of the unit. So you can call yours that, or maybe you can call yours the actual title of the unit, whatever the case may be. But what we would want to probably do on this overview page is give students a quick summary or a quick schedule of what they can expect to do during this unit. So I think the best way to do that is probably add some text down here. So what I'm going to do is add a text box, insert a text box, very basic text box, and I might just say, during this unit on blah blah blah, you can expect to learn blah blah blah. And maybe what I do is tell them on day 1, here is the topic covered. On day 2, I can tell them, here is the topic covered. So on and so on. I can give them the breakdown of each. Maybe another thing that I want to do a little bit further down, but in a separate text box, is to add my objectives. The objectives covered during this unit. A summary of the objectives. And I could list all of my objectives. Perhaps one more thing that I want to do down here is look in my Google Drive and find my unit plan. So if I wanted to embed my unit plan in here, I could pull something from the drive. And we can even look really quickly. When you click on Google Drive and you're looking for a document, like I said, you want to have everything organized. So I know my items are over here in EDUC 381. And maybe what I have saved as my unit plan. We'll just use this as an example. I could insert in a picture of a document to help illustrate what I'm doing here on this page. So that's really quickly how to develop a page. One nice thing you can do over here is also separate out the background. So like, let's say I wanted to keep this timeline separate from these objectives. Well, I can further separate them by giving them an emphasis, a background emphasis, or maybe what I'm going to do is use one of their images that they already have loaded to help separate the background. So you can do lots and lots of different things, like I said, to personalize all of your sections that you're doing here. So feel free to play around with all of that. The next thing that you might want to do is add your pages. So we're definitely going to need to add pages for each of the lessons. So when I click on this menu here, Pages menu, and I click on the plus sign, that's going to ask me for my new page name. So maybe my first page name is going to be Day 1 Lesson. And maybe while I'm at it, I'll just add all of them. Day 2 Lesson. Day 3 Lesson. So on and so forth. You might not decide to organize your website this way, and that's fine, but I just want to illustrate for you how to add pages. So as soon as I've added my pages, you'll see that they start to show up here on this ribbon menu. So then I can go back to my home page. I can be on Day 1 lesson, and maybe what I want to do for Day 1 lesson is make it a little bit different than the home page. Also for the Day 1 lesson, I want to go back and start to insert things. So for my Day 1 lesson, I'll add another text box that gives the description. Then maybe add another text box that will give the assessment. Maybe I can even add in an image that I'm going to upload for my students. Maybe I even want to embed a YouTube video. So this is where I can start to embed some videos as well. All you need to do is click on embed, have the video link from YouTube, and just copy it down here, insert it, and it will insert the video on the page. I don't have one ready to go right this minute, but that's how easy it can be to also upload YouTube videos. Another thing that you might consider is as you're building your page and not just having everything line up down the list, you can play around with your layout. So maybe your picture needs to be next to your text. And what you can do is move around all the items that you have going on there with your layout. So play around with those layouts. You can also over here play around with themes. So not only could you pick a template from the very first choice that you had in developing the website, but you can also look at some of these themes that are already built into Google Sites. So for now, have fun playing around with just the development of your website. And after a couple of days of just playing around with how you want it to look, then we'll start to actually build your content into the website. One last thing to keep in mind always as you're developing your website is that you want to publish it often. Publish is actually your save button on this, so make sure you publish often in order to save often. A stock web address will show up like this, but you can always change that however you want. So let's say I wanted to change it to an easier website. You can see here that the website is always going to be sites.google.com/view/ and then what you're entering in. So I'll say Dr. Blanco sample. Or how about Dr. Blanco 381 sample. So you can customize your URL there also. Okay. So here we go. I'm publishing. It says it has been successfully published. I could view really quickly just to make sure that the outsider view, not the working view, looks okay. So like here I might see, oh, my picture got cut off a little bit. I'd go back and adjust that. Here I see a difference in text box. I might go ahead and adjust that. And in order to adjust that, you just go right down here to the back to the edit your page. You can always, always, always find your site as long as you've saved it. Sites.google.com. That will be back to your main menu there. And right there, you can see the site you were just working on. All right, so have fun building your website. I will post a separate video for you guys to describe more of the details of the unit. But in this video, I just wanted to describe the basics of building your website. So have fun.